Welcome. This is Tax Pro Nation, the home of the independent tax professionals, where you can find a tax community, maximize your earnings, and live life on your own terms. I'm your host, Imelda Ledesma, COO of Pronto Tax School. Welcome back to our IRS Tax Forum Spotlight Series.
So we're here with the next installment of Tax Pro Nation, the podcast. We wanted to introduce you to somebody who has been highly successful in the tax business by my standards, not only monetarily successful, but somebody that, every time I see this gentleman, he's enjoying his life. He enjoys what he does. He's excited about what's going on in our industry, which not everybody is. So give us an introduction to who are you, what do you do, and why are you still excited to be a part of the tax industry?
That's a great question, Andy. And I've known Andy for about 10 years, maybe. I think we met out in LA at a conference. It was pretty interesting. He's grown too. So you should be very proud of yourself. Pronto School. You should take his classes. They're amazing. Okay. So my name is Dave Steiner. When I come to conferences, people always find me because I'm always wearing weird shirts. This is my little logo here, little multicolored man there. Okay. So it's focused around me. They call me the shirt guy, whatever it is. That's the name of my company, Zebulon. But anyway, so point is that I've been in the industry for about 20 years now, maybe.
Okay.
And life's been good. I mean, when I started, I was like most of the people out there in the field where they're just, single man operators or single woman operators, right? Yep. And they're like, what do I do? And then I went to a couple conferences and I saw what the successful people were doing.
Okay.
And I copied them. And it's a matter of, you do that. And when I say you, in your classes, you actually give us the way to get more successful. A lot of people are like, oh, there's 40 hours a week. Well, if I work Saturday, I make more money. No, the goal is not to do 100 returns. Well, the goal is to do 100 returns at $1,000 a piece, not to do 1,000 returns at $100 a piece. There's no money in there. So you have to learn how to scale. You have to learn how to build the business. So I'm always excited to go to conferences, meet people, talk to people like Andy, okay, or other vendors here like I'm in here. At the IRS conference this year in 2025, they say there's about 4,000 people here. There's about 70 vendors or whatever it is. I've actually spoken to every single vendor to see what they're doing. Okay. Now, here's the deal. I'm not buying 70 vendors worth of products. Okay, but at least I know what's going on, right? And I know it's coming down the line. For example, I saw this new scanning, because most of us are still doing tax returns by hand, right? Or entering the data, get the data. Well, we got rid of that, 2 years ago by buying a product that we saw here at one of the conferences that scans all our documents for us. It doesn't do the tax returns yet, right? Because the OCR is still not there yet. They've been promising it for years. I don't want to name any companies. Can I do that? No, I won't do that. It's okay.
You do what you want, Dave. This is your world. For our time together, let's just do what we want.
So there's a couple companies that scan software for you. They've been coming for a while. They're still not there yet. I mean, for example, literally across the booth from you, there's a company that scans software. It says, I literally watched it live, and it did work. Okay.
Not even in the demo.
In the demo,
in that case, let's not name names.
Yeah. So
but I know what you mean. That it's not quite game ready.
Right.
But you're going around, because I met you at a conference originally, and that's how we originally connected. So going to conferences and actually talking to people and you actually learning from other people, that's maybe something that's as weird as it sounds, is an untapped opportunity.
Yeah, no, 100%,
us, right?
100%. I mean, this is the point. I mean, people make fun of me because they always call me sometimes the conference guy. I mean, I'm walking around, people always come out to me and they see me like, oh, I haven't seen you in years or whatever. They know me, they remember me. And you go to every conference. I'm like, yeah, I actually do go to a lot of conferences, because what you have to learn is you can't work in your business. You got to work on your business, which is a total mind shift, right? Because most people are like, oh, if I get up early in the morning, I get the office at 6 a.m. and I go home the next day at 7 a.m. No, that's not good. I don't want to do that. I mean, I think I told you the other day, my office, we literally close April 13th, 14th, and 15th. We are literally golfing on April 13th, 14th, and 15th. I golf literally on this new. I golf 3 times a year, April 13th, 14th, and 15th. Okay, I'm really bad at it. Okay,
interesting. Okay.
That's it. I am closed October 10th through the 15th. I'm closed September 10th to the 15th. That means if you don't got your stuff to me, guess what? It ain't getting filed.
Okay.
I don't care.
And why was that important to you? Because that sounds so, I mean, that's what I've loved about getting to know you, is that contrarian nature.
Yeah.
Like, like, is that almost like a branding thing?
It is a branding, but it's also a matter of who controls your office.
Okay.
In other words, are you in your office
Okay.
or is the office controlling you?
Okay.
And I went to a conference. It was really funny. He's not here actually, but I went to a conference a couple years ago. Literally, it was on either April 16th or October 16th, right? 2 days are real because we all know April 15th, October, right?
Right.
It was either April 16th or October 16th, and it was one of those really, really weird years where you had Patriots Day on that Monday,
Okay.
and then the extra day. So you actually had 2 extra days to file. And there were 800 people who showed up at that conference. And the head speaker got up there and goes, listen, I'm glad you guys are here. Because a lot of guys stayed the extra 2 days.
Okay.
Who's controlling your office?
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. So I don't let my office control me. And one of the things, for example, like a lot of you guys, and I'm talking to a computer and I'm talking to a monitor, but I'm sure you're going to hear this on the video or hear it on their radio versus, on the podcast. But a lot of these guys, want to be in the office. And they think if you're in the office, you win. No, you don't want to be in the office. You want to be out of the office. You need to control. I don't work, and this is not new. For the last 5+ years, forget COVID, even before that, I don't work on Sundays. I don't work on Saturdays. And I'm home every day at 6 o'clock. And when my daughters were in high school, my daughters were athletes. Okay, my daughter's a D1 lacrosse player. We'll talk another time.
Cool.
I never missed a single game.
Cool.
And lacrosse season is in March and April.
Okay, right.
So think about that. That means I had to leave the office twice a week at about 2:30, 3 o'clock to go see my daughter play lacrosse.
Okay.
I never missed a single lacrosse game. And my other daughter ran track, which is also spring season. I never missed a meet of hers. Not too exciting to watch track because you stand in one spot and daughter runs by, you wave, that's it. Laura's lacrosse is more exciting, But the point is, I never missed a game. That means I was out of the office 2 days out of the week. Okay, and I don't, like I said, don't work Sundays. I leave every day at 6 o'clock. Why do I leave at 6 o'clock? Because I go to the gym. The gym is more important to me.
That's important to you. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
It's more important to me to go to the gym and look good because I am good looking, and you guys on the radio can't see how good looking I am, but I am very good looking. Okay, but
You're blessed. You're very blessed.
Yeah. So what happens is I go to the gym. So my clients know, oh, can I meet you on Saturday? No. Can I meet you Sunday? No. Okay. Now,
how much of what you've been able to be successful with, Dave, comes from being able to say no, and then still have a good relationship with the person you said no to?
That's a really good question, and it's one of those things where you have to kind of just do it mentally, right? In the beginning, it's mental. It's all mental. I mean, I have a client, well, not client, a friend. They're accountants down here in Florida, and they left their big firm to start their own firm. And it was really funny. It was 2 years ago. We were at dinner together, and they said, "Oh, we only want to bill $1,000 for a basic return. How do we do that?" And I said to him, "It's real simple. When a client comes in, you say it's $1,000."
Okay.
And it was really funny because last year, when I saw them, they were actually crying. Okay, and
you made them cry?
Well, I made them cry.
Was it for a good reason, though?
Well, for a good. They were
Okay.
crying because they said, "Dave, you're wrong." I said, "Why am I wrong?" He said, "Well, because we charge $1,000, and I'm making numbers up totally. We only had 500 clients. We couldn't live." And it's like, okay, not a problem. I literally saw them in May, because that's when I saw them last year, okay, in May. And they go, "Dave, you're the best thing in the world." I said, "Why?" He goes, "Well, because all our clients come in now, and they're all at $1,000. And now we're at $1,200 is our minimum. So it's a matter of when everyone comes in the door, it's $1,200. That's it. So that's how you do it. So you set your price, you set your minimums, and you say, this is what I'm going to do. And a lot of people don't stick with it, because what people do is they say, and again, I'm using the average $500 return, right? Average client comes in and goes, "Oh, my friend down the street will do it for $350." And you go, "Okay, I'll do it for like $375.
Okay.
No, my price is $500. Have a nice day.
Okay.
It's just that simple. And we don't give discounts. Okay, we give referral fees. We can talk about that later, but we don't give discounts. And if you're a referral from somebody, your price goes up. So if I'm charging Andy $500 and he refers someone to me, his friend is going to be a minimum of $550, if not $600, because that's a referral. That's a really good client. Also, clients who come in and go, "Oh, I left my accountant down the street." Okay, well, then you're a much higher than the other accountant down the street. Right? The problem with our industry is we always race to the bottom. Like, "Oh, I charge $500 and Andy charges $499. So the client runs over to him. And then they go, "Oh, I'll take you back. How about $475? And then he goes, "I want you back." And we build, not bring the price down to $200.
So you're suggesting that's not smart?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, that's the race of doing 1,000 returns at $100 a piece. I don't want to do that.
Gotcha. Okay. And did you always have that sort of, or did you gain that over time?
I gained that over time.
Okay.
I mean, my business has grown in the last 10 years exponentially. Again, because I changed my mindset, and looked at things like going to a conference and seeing like what I could do. Like I don't look at a conference and go, oh, I'm going to the IRS conference. It costs me whatever $300, and I have to fly here. I'm in New Jersey. The conference here is in Orlando, so I have to fly down here. I have to stay in a hotel. Okay, I have to feed myself. Right. So let's call it all in $1,000 and 3 days out of the office. I don't go, oh my God, this is horrible. No, I look at it and go, okay, what am I going to learn? What am I going to need? What do I get out of it? And where can I bill my next client to make that back? For example, I actually called one of my clients up and said, hey, by the way, I'm going down to the IRS conference. I noticed there were 4 classes on nonprofits.
Okay.
And the client said, oh, that's cool. I said, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take those classes at the expense of other classes, and I'm going to bill you an hour of time or 4 hours of time. So again, let's use $500. $500. I made $2,000 to come down to this conference. Oh, so now I'm down $1,000 of income, right, to make the conference. But I got $2,000 from one client. So now if I do that for a couple clients, which I actually did, I'm actually making money at this conference.
But you're not going to charge me to be on this podcast.
No, I will be charged. You'll get my bill tomorrow. Don't worry about it.
I'm surprised you won't auto debit me.
I can do that too.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then, for example, like just technology, embracing technology. Like I said before, talking about these scanning softwares. They've been talking about it for a while. They're getting there. They're getting there. Even like auto debit. Like for example. So a lot of accountants. They do the return and then they wait for the money to come in.
Yep.
We have literally 0 accounts receivable.
Okay.
We ACH every single client. So when you do the return, either you pay it online through one of the soft systems we use, okay? You pay us right then and there, or we auto debit your account. There's no, I'll pay you next week. I'll pay you when I get the refund. No, that doesn't work. Now,
that's not how it goes down in New Jersey.
Not at all. No. And if we've lost some clients, that's okay. Like, I don't care if I've lost clients because I don't have to worry about chasing people down. I don't worry about it was funny. There's a guy across the hall from me. So in my building, it's a 3-story building. There's 6 accounting firms in there. And the guy across the hall from me, he would every year not bill 15% of his clients approximately. And then every 7 years, he would actually lose a client, which means he's losing 100% of his revenue every year. Imagine you work 6 years, and in year 7 you don't work for you work for free. That doesn't work for me.
Okay. Right.
So no, we bill everybody. I don't feel bad about billing. That's what I probably do. A lot of accountants feel bad, like, oh, I charged Mrs. Smith more than $200. She's gonna be mad. Good, let her be mad. Okay. It's kind of funny. My best referral is a client of mine. Let's call her Toby. That's her name. So Toby every year sends me anywhere from 1 to 3 new clients. Every single one of them calls me and says, hey, Dave, I got your name from Toby. She says you're very expensive. She would love to come back, but she can't afford you. And I'm thinking you're about $1,000. And I'm like, yes, I am. Okay. They actually set the price because she's referred them that he's the most expensive accountant. And I'm not, but I want to be known as the most. She set the price. My best referral. So she's not a client anymore because I priced her out, right? And I don't have a problem pricing people out. So every year, everyone gets a price raise. Okay, I had a client the other day who called me up and said, hey, listen, I'm going to send you a ton of clients. And she actually has sent me a ton of clients, okay? She goes, I want a discount on my return. And I said, that's not going to happen. She said, what? I said, no. The fee is the fee. That's what you're going to pay. I will then give you a check back for all the referrals. But you're not getting a discount on your fee. My fee is the fee. That's it. And it's the same thing too. For example, a lot of accountants sit there and go, oh, well, it's my brother's sister's daughter or whatever the hell it is, that kind of crap. And they give a discount to family and friends, right? No. I do a lot of my family returns. For example, my wife's sister, okay? She is not special needs, but she's special needs. Let's go with that. She can't afford anything. She makes like $20,000 doing a retail job. Go her. Every year, this past year, I sent her return. The return was billed to her at $1,000. And then it said $950 family discount. So she paid me $50. Now, that's the same $50 you guys are charging your family and friends anyway, right? But the reason I charge her $1,000 is so when she sees me at Thanksgiving and other family events, she knows the value of what I charge my other clients. So she knows, oh, I better not bother him about taxes, right? And a lot of people are just like, oh, I'll just charge them $50. No, charge them $1,000, give him a discount. It's okay. But that's the only exception is family, right? Who get that. But every other client, this is my fee. I will give you money back, but my fee is my fee. You don't like it? Don't care.
It's interesting with the business clients too, is because when you operate in the way that you operate your business, which is intentionally that you're the leader on your business and the types of things you're talking about, does it in a way, because a lot of small businesses we kind of like wish that we could do things that way, or does it kind of like inspire your business clients to maybe tighten up or run their businesses a little bit differently? It's almost like a culture thing.
Yeah, it
right?
is. I mean, you definitely attract people that are like yourself.
Okay.
So there's no doubt about that. I was at a conference in San Diego and somebody said something that was stupid, and I kind of beat her up because that's my technology, and the way I talk and the way I am. And after everybody who was at the conference goes, dude, you were totally right. She's an idiot. I go, well, thank you. But, and then she came up to me and she goes, well, all your clients are like this. I said, actually, no, those aren't like my clients at all. I am not my client. And this is the problem. A lot of accountants think, oh, they are their client. No, you're not your client. Let your client be your client. They will refer what they like. I mean, if you think of referrals, this guy referred this guy. He refers all. Like I have one client who's a dentist. He's referred 11 dentists or dentists to me. Okay, and they referred other dentists to me. I have 25 dentists or 28 dentists in my practice now all of a sudden. I never had them before, and they're all the same. And when I say they're all the same, they all come in. Their books are a mess, so I get to charge them for bookkeeping, which is awesome, right? They have no payroll, so I get to run them on payroll, make them an S Corp, charge for that, right? And all of a sudden, they're starting to run and then they realize where they were, 2 years ago compared to where they are now, and they're like, I like that. So yeah, they get into this culture habit, and then they know other dentists, right? So what they do, they and the dentists look at each other like, well, how come, I'm only making $100,000 and you're making $500,000? It's like, I have, 100 clients, you have 100 clients.
Yep.
No, it's the way you're operating your business, right? In other words, and so one of the things is I will also help them run their business, right? I'll talk to them about marketing. Because again, most accountants only talk about, oh, well, here's how much you made, here's what you met, expenses, here's your net. No, that you got to talk about other stuff.
You're changing their mindset by the way that you're, okay. So I've seen some of that, and that in a way that's more valuable even sometimes than the service.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, for example, like I had a client, we use this software and it actually looks at the QuickBooks file and pulls out data sets on it. And so, for example, I have one client specifically who has a car wash, and all of a sudden the big expense. I go, why do you have a big expense? He goes, yeah, I don't know what it is. Well, it was one of his employees stealing money. Okay. That I found. Do you understand that if we weren't going through the books on a regular basis with it? Now, again, I do the books, but I was adding value to the client.
Right.
And
actually
saying,
to understand their business. And okay.
So.
I wanted to move towards closing out the interview by addressing something.
Giving me money? You give me your bank account so I can just take the money out?
Well, I think I'm going to go into your accounts payable file.
Okay.
I might be the only one in there, but I plan to stay right there because I want you to think of me fondly when you see that unpaid bill. I'll be the one that made it through somehow. That's my goal in life. We could probably go back and forth like this all the time. I like the people from the Northeast because my wife's from, her family's from Philadelphia too, and I just love the way you guys are kind of let people know how you really feel type of thing.
It's reality.
This is something that's on people's minds that we don't really talk about because maybe we might feel greedy. And I think the original time that we met was at Chauncey Hutter's Building $1 Million Tax Business.
Yes, it was. Yep.
And that was kind of his... shout out to him for the work that he does with mindset wise and these kinds of things.
100%. I owe him a lot.
Big influence on this type of thing and helping people like Dave do what you've been able to do. So building $1 million tax business, there's obviously the gross sales and then there's the net, so we always think of things like, well, how much am I going to have to pay in payroll?
Right.
Like what's my market? Can you talk me through, like, if I want to make $1 million in this business per year, talk me through like the math of what you would recommend. First of all, is that possible? And secondly, what does the math look like? Because we talked a lot about the mindset, but I know you run numbers too. So like, what does the math look like, and how would you go about doing that in today's industry?
So there's two things you have to think about, and I'm going to beat on accountants because that's what I do regularly.
I'm here for
or three things, right? One is that I was at I'll drop a name, Grant Cardone. If you don't know him, read his book. Great guy. And he says 10x. And one of the things he says is, you make $200,000 a year.
Okay.
And you make $100,000 a year. You have, $80,000 expenses. So you have 20 left over.
Yep.
And then you go to your accountant to try to get that down to 15,000 so you pay less tax. And Cardone goes, no, you're wrong. Don't make $100,000 in lower expenses. Increase your expenses. Double, triple, 10x your expenses. So think of it. If I'm spending $80,000 a year, okay, and I 10x my expenses, that's $800,000, which means I'm making how much? Oh, $1 million. So would I rather make $20,000 or $200,000?
But what am I spending on? Because I could go around this conference and I could just be dumb and buy everything.
No, you could do that. No, you have to spend on technology, you have to spend on marketing.
Okay.
You have to spend on stuff that saves you time.
You have to spend and invest wisely.
Invest
right?
wisely, yeah. It's always spending. You invest wisely, yeah. In other words, you have to figure out where you're getting back. Like I said, I walked around this thing, I saw 80 vendors here, okay? I'm going to do business with none of them this year for no reason, but I did see a couple that are, like I said, planning coming forward. I'm planning to follow 3 or 4 vendors, like the people across the street here, okay, to see how their software gets better next year. Because guess what? That can save. I mean, again, as I said before, right now you're manually entering in the data set in our tax return. Imagine if I didn't have to manually. Now you're going to say, oh, it's going to cost me $50 a return to not enter it. Well, how about it's no time at all, and they just do the return for me, and 5 minutes later it comes back done. I just freed up 45 minutes of my time, which means I can see more clients to make more money then.
So I like the investing and raising your expenses, and I could see how if you do that the right way, that would. Right. So if I want to make $1 million, I like that point. What else? Am I focused on the pricing power and the? Am I focused on recurring?
All right, so in order to make $1 million, which we are $1 million firm, so go us.
Yeah, okay. That's why I asked you the question. If you weren't that, then I wouldn't be asking the question.
Yeah,
it would just be theory at that point.
There's a couple things. I mean, if you believe in Steve Harvey, right, the Family Feud guy, right?
Okay.
He said when he was little, he was mowing lawns for $1. That's how old he is, right? And he said to his dad, "How do I make $1 million?" He goes, "Well, mow 1 million lawns, or charge $2 and mow 500 lawns." Like, it's just that simple. Like, so all you got to do is break into $1 million and say, okay, how much am I going to charge a client?
Okay.
In other words, so $1 million is 1,000 returns at $1,000.
But I might not only do tax prep because you guys have other service lines.
Right. So that's the point. So, and then if you believe in Dan Kennedy, who I'm a big fan of, okay, Dan Kennedy says that unfortunately there are 3 ways to make more money, and 2 out of 3 of them suck. Right. The first way to make more money is work more hours. Well, there's 40 hours in a week. You're done. 2, raise your prices. Well, you really can't raise your prices because there is pricing pressure, right? And if you're in an industry, for example, where you can't charge more, for example, like say you sell insurance, like property and casualty insurance, you can't raise your price. The price is the price.
But so for tax, you can, because that's what you were just saying.
Well, you can raise your tax.
And that's part of the magic of the...
But there is pricing pressure, right? Because like I said before, if I charge $500 and you charge $499, I could lose a client. So I got to be careful, unless I can differentiate how I am. But the real way to make extra money is to sell more services to the same client. So when I sell a bookkeeping client, and I sell a payroll client, and I sell a tax client, okay, that's no longer a $1,200 client or an $1,800 client. It's a $6,000, $7,000 a year client.
Okay.
Now take $1 million divided by 6,000. How many clients do I need to do that?
Okay.
In other words, so that's where the issue is. The issue is, can you do that? And then the other question is, a lot of you guys are out there, again, are single man, single woman firms going, well, I can't do the bookkeeping. Yeah, you can. There's 3 companies here who do outsource bookkeeping. I've been doing outsourced bookkeeping for 10 years.
Yeah, I remember you last time we talked. 10 years ago was, 10
years. I have not done a single QuickBooks file or Xero file in 10 years. I don't even know how to use the program. Okay, literally my outsourcing guys log into the bank accounts, okay, do the thing, and then on the 7th of the month, they send me all the P&Ls and to the client. I mean, individually client, but I get all of them in one. But they send individual client. The client gets the P&L for the month, and then there's a phone call. And I'm billing my client every single month for that P&L. And what am I paying? I'm paying overseas people at $8 an hour, $10 an hour to do bookkeeping rather than me doing it. And I'm billing my clients $600, $700 a month for that. That's a lot of money.
Expanding the per client revenue and the per client value. So that somewhat relates to the client selection process, right? Because that might be mostly business clients or higher end. So would you suggest if I want to make $1 million in tax business that I select Or do the clients
I'm going to tell you now,
themselves?
it's going to be, in order to be a single or solopreneur, entrepreneur, operator, to be making $1 million as specifically doing 1040s, you ain't going to make it.
Okay.
Unless you're doing 8 billion returns.
Okay.
It's just not possible.
And you have multiple locations or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In other words, for example, like I don't know if you went to one of the shows in Vegas. Well, you weren't there, but one of the shows in Vegas is funny. But one of these guys runs around, he's all happy, and everyone's like, "Oh, that guy makes $2 million." You talk to him for 5 seconds, he goes, "Yeah, I did 9,000 returns." No, I don't want to do 9,000 returns.
Sounds horrible.
It's not worth it. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, people, $2 million is a lot of money.
You won't be going to too many lacrosse games at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so you don't want to do 9,000 returns. You want to do just the number of returns you can do. And the other thing too is, for example, like going to shows, like while I was waiting to interview you, Andy, rather than you interview me, I was talking to one of the people who I know, and we were talking about his business and how he's actually pared down his business. So last year he did 500 returns. This year he did 350. So he literally pared down 150 of his clients. Okay, and he goes, revenue's up. Right, because he raised the other people above what so again, you take 500 times 500, make numbers easy. It's 125. He's now doing 350 times, 300.
Yeah.
Same 125.
Yeah.
Right, doing less work and he's winning. Right, and that's the point. So but again, if you're a solo guy or a 1.5 man guy, 1.5 woman person firm, it's going to be impossible for you to make $1 million. Now, again, doesn't mean you can't do it because, for example, like I have one client where we're actually going to end up billing them $1 million this year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll make more than $1 million, but I'm one client. That's more rare because I still consider myself in that small 1 to 4 man company. In other words, we're not huge, we're not ginormous, okay? But I've set up everything. I've set up systems. Like I said, I said it before. I work on my business all the time. I'm never working in my business. I mean, again, I'm talking to you. How am I working in my business right now? I'm not. I'm working on my business. I'm thinking, like, while I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, oh, what can I do tomorrow? What can I do later today? What am I going to do stuff? And people are like, oh, that's a really good idea. In other words, so again, you come to a conference like this or any random conference, right? Some are better, some are worse. There's no doubt about that. And, my goal for every conference, like I said before, is I don't look at it and go, oh, I'm out of money. I go, I want to come up with one idea I can implement today and one idea I can implement tomorrow.
Okay,
and so the idea for tomorrow
that's
already,
how you come into the event?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So the one idea for tomorrow is looking at the softwares that now OCR their stuff. No, so that's for tomorrow because it's not there yet, right?
Gotcha.
But I did get one idea for today at one of the vendors. He showed me something to do, and I was like, that's something I can implement today.
Yeah.
So that's going to make me money, right? On top. So again, I paid money. Let's call it $1,000 to come here. I billed several clients to come here, right? I specifically called them. I said, I'm going to a conference. I said, not a problem. So they paid for my conference to come here. And then I came with an idea that I implement all my clients and an idea for next year. Now, again, the OCR stuff may not be there next year. May not be there another 5 years. I have no idea. I mean, they said AI is coming, right? It is coming. And it's coming faster in some areas and slower in other areas. Still not there yet. They said, they've been telling us for years now that AI is going to put us out of business. There's no doubt in my mind it's going to. I just don't know when yet. I mean, it's getting closer. And perfect example is my older daughter. She didn't want to wait for her dad to do a return in June. She gets one W-2 from ADP. It has a 16-digit barcode on it. She literally scanned it on her phone, and it popped open some online tax service. Okay. And she says, I'm supposed to give back couple hundred bucks, whatever. I said, that sounds right. She did it. She's like, all right, done. That's definitely AI stuff, right? Now, am I concerned about losing my daughter? Yes and no, right? Because my daughter, not that she's not my client, but her generation of single member W-2s are not going to make me $1 million. I can't charge my daughter, not that she's my daughter, right? But I can't charge that person $3,000 for a tax return.
Sure.
They're like, no. You know what I'm saying? So it's a matter, they're going to be like, oh, can I do it for like $350? And my answer is no. My minimum is this. I'm not going to do a return with the $350, right? But that's where and it makes sense for her to say, hey, I only want to pay $350. It's all I can afford. That's what it's worth to me. Well, do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. So yeah, again, but as a single solo operator, it's going to be tough to do $1 million only doing taxes. But if you do, business returns, you do payroll, you do bookkeeping, you do this other stuff, okay, you do representation. Okay,
those are mostly, and if not all, business clients.
They're all business clients,
So you're in a focus area of working with other business
it's just math.
Owners.
It's just
right?
math. Yeah, it's just math.
Right.
It's just math. You got to look at it and be like, you look at stores like, Costco, for example, or Target or Walmart and say, who are their clients, right? You just saw the article that came in the other day. The news was all excited. This guy makes $800,000 a year and he shops at Costco. I shop at Costco too, okay? I also shop at Target. Okay, I don't shop at Walmart. Okay, for several reasons, but 50% of America does shop at Walmart though, because it's the closest store to them, and people perceive that it has a lower price than other stores, so people are willing to drive for it. But for example, like when I was in Hawaii last year, I went to the #1 Costco in the country. It was jam-packed because the entire island drives 45 minutes across the island once a week.
The destination.
It's 100%.
Right.
It's packed. I mean, it's the #1 store. Okay, it was insane to see it. It was insane to see it. Okay, but it was amazing. It's like, oh my God, I can't. And people just go there and they drop. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are Costco members, you should be coming. But anyway, dropping. The average bill at Costco right now is over $600.
Yeah, that's how much I spend every time I go there.
Okay, so
and I don't really barely even get that much.
You like walk away with bag of strawberries.
And I might get like random like surfboards, or I got
exactly. But the average
khakis mixed in
the
with
average
that
the average price is $600 now for Costco.
Yeah.
So who shops there? Everybody shops there, right? But if you look at, for example, and again, I'll use Target versus like Macy's, right? Target, call it lower end consumer, lower end pricing, and they sell jeans, they sell sneakers, okay. Macy's sells it too, but higher end, same pair of jeans. Just, Levi's jeans, right, at Target are $33. At Macy's, they're $60. There's no difference. But Macy's, and people are like, oh, I got it at Macy's. They're all impressed. Like, I paid $60. Okay, so if you can differentiate yourself, you could definitely make more money. So that's one way you can make $1 million. But again, it's real simple. Just take $1 million divided by the number of clients you have and say it's got to be
per client revenue,
and that's it.
How could you earn that per client revenue?
Right.
What services? Do
and
they need?
Again, and on the individual level, you're not going to find it. I mean, I had a client who he's still a client, but when he came in, he was making $12 million a year, several years ago. Okay, he's a banker in New York, right? Makes $12 million a year. He came in and he was a little bit pissed because of the fact that he was paying like $2,500 or $3,000 to his accountant. And he was like, dude, I literally have one W-2. Okay, I work at a bank. I'm a VP at a bank. I make $12 million a year. No bonus. I've got no stock. I got nothing. I can't get any deductions.
I just make a lot of money.
And he goes, I literally could probably do this on TurboTax for $99. And he was actually right. All right, he could have bought it. Except they would upcharge him because of the amount of money. So I said to him, this is years ago. I said to him, how about $700? He's like, oh my God, this is great. So every year I raise him. Okay, but even now. Okay, he's making several millions of dollars. Okay, I charge him the $3,800, I think, $4,000 right now, which is lower than the other guy who's still right. Okay, and I'm happy to do the return because it takes 5 seconds. Okay, yes. But even at $4,000 a piece, take $1 million divided by $4,000. How many clients I have to do? 2,500? That's not realistic. Do you understand? So again, if you're a solo operator, it's going to be really difficult to do that unless you have multiple offices or multiple people.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Dave, thanks so much for joining us, sharing your experiences. We have a live question. Okay.
Oh, we do? Wow.
We're up for live questions.
I like live questions. Okay. Wait. First, as Andy said, you have to provide your routing number and account number so we can bill you for it.
That's the starting point.
The starting point.
To help you, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you half.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've been on the outsourced bookkeeping train for a while now.
Yeah. So outsourcing, I don't want to necessarily give out my company. Not that I don't. I mean, I like them. I use them. I mean, they bill me like something like $3,000 a month. So think of it that way. I'm paying $3,000 a month or $36,000 a year for bookkeeping. Imagine how much I'm billing my clients to do that work, right?
Okay.
But here's the deal. If you are, I don't know where this person's from, so I have no idea. But go to a conference or even go to the IRS forum website, okay? And there's a vendor tab list. And just list down the vendors and just dig through the vendors. There's literally 3 or 4, I know it's 3 definitely, outsourcing companies. Call them, see what they say. In other words, and then do it, or go to a conference. I mean, the IRS conference, there's 5, okay? I'm sure there's one near you, or go to some other, I mean, we're in Miami, so there's a very big Spanish population here.
Orlando, same idea.
Sorry, okay. So if you're Spanish, go to the Latino show, Latinx, the Hispanic show, that kind of. If you're from the Midwest, go to the Midwest show. Like I'm going to the Rocky Mountain Conference in Denver. Okay, I'm speaking.
Cool.
But anyway, but the point is, I'm going there. Why? Because why not? You know what I'm saying? That kind. Because I'm going to go see some people. I'll talk to some that kind of thing. So yeah, just go online. Just type in outsourcing companies. I can't tell you that any of them are better or worse. I mean, I found one. I'm pretty happy with them. They've been really good to me. Their new pricing is significantly higher than my pricing because
Okay.
I've been with them so long. But usually what they do is they give you a guaranteed either 20 or 40 hours a week, guaranteed work, okay, or 20 or 40 hours a month at this price, whether you use it or not. And then if you go over that, they'll bill you hourly, and then they'll move you to the next tier, basically. But it's very simple to do. And then it's also a matter, for example, perfect example, right? So a lot of you guys out there are using QuickBooks Desktop. You guys are aware that it is 1920, not 2019, right? It's 2019 today, right? Oh, it's 2025. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay. So if you come into our office and you say you use QuickBooks Desktop, you are not a client. Okay. So here's the way it works to do bookkeeping in our office. You come in, we either put you on Xero, put you on QBO, okay, or there's two other companies we use as well, Puzzle and Digits as well, okay, that are in the cloud.
Okay.
There's no, that's not even a negotiable.
That's your selection.
Okay. The second negotiable
criteria.
on top of that is you will give me your username and password so I can log into your bank account every month and download the transactions. Or some banks have accountants access, which is either way works. I don't care. But it's not like, oh, I'm going to send you PDF. Like I talk to accountants all the time. Oh, my clients send me PDFs of the bank. What do you mean send me PDFs? Like I said before, it's 1920, not 2019. What do you mean send me PDFs? You don't send me PDFs. You download the feed directly from the bank. We're done. Okay. So like I said, we use 4 accounting softwares. They're all in the cloud. Okay. I found out about them at conferences. In other words, and that was a game changer. We switched away from QuickBooks Desktop 7 years ago. So anyone who's using QuickBooks Desktop, can I use the word idiot out loud?
You're
like
an idiot.
Said,
it's a safe space.
Yeah, you're an idiot. Okay. Exactly. All right. And then 2, if anyone's sending you PDFs of bank statements, that's just silly. Download the statement directly from the bank. Download the feed every single month. It's just that simple. And if you set up the rules in the accounting softwares, I have a couple clients where I don't want to brag, but I don't do any work. Let me repeat that. I don't do any work for those clients, and I bill them $600, $700, $800 a month. Did you hear that?
I liked where you were going with that. Yeah.
That means I'm making $10,000 a year, and it literally took me about an hour to 2 hours in the beginning of the time to set them up, right?
And they're happy.
Oh my God, they love it.
They don't feel like they're getting ripped off.
They have no idea. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they have no idea, but they're very happy. So what happens the first month, right? They come in, I set them up in QuickBooks. I get their, or Xero, Digits, Puzzle, doesn't matter, right?
Yep.
I get the bank account information. I download the transactions. I set the rules up. There's a couple people I don't know, like, their expenses. So I call them up.
Whatever,
I go, who's this vendor? Andy Pronto Tax. Who's that? Oh, it's some guy. Okay, great. Well, what do you put him under? Oh, he's under office education. Perfect. So I tag that. And then every month when it downloads, it all automatically maps all the expenses. And then we get a list at the end of the month of the 2 or 3 that we don't know. Some of them I'm able to figure out in 2 seconds and go, not a problem. Others of them I actually call the client or email the client, go, hey, by the way, what is? And then after a while, I think most clients have the same 10, 20, 30, 40 vendors every single month. Okay. So how tough is it to do it? It's only the one off. Yeah. So I got clients that are literally getting their feeds. I'm literally giving them their bank statements daily. I'm not involved, right? It's all set up. It's all linked. So imagine charging a client $1,000 a month. He's getting his bank statement, his P&L every day.
Yep.
Well, that's great. You're doing a lot of work for me. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of work for you. I'm not doing anything for him. But it did take some time up front. But after that, nothing. So that's a huge, and again, your question is how to make $1 million, like you said before. Well, if you sell more services or different services to the same client, in this case, bookkeeping, and you don't have to be involved, right? So here's what happens. So the bookkeeping's done. On January 5th or 7th, I get the bookkeeping for the previous year. You hit the little export button, because all the accounting softwares have it, and it says, do you want to export this to a Schedule C, a Schedule E, a Schedule F, 1120, whatever. Export it right into the software, and boom, you're done. It's just that simple.
What a day.
Yeah, and then I bill the client another whatever it is for the tax return, and I did no work. Yeah, that's how you can, and I freed up a lot of time.
Yeah, that's where you start.
And then the other thing too, I could also say too, is a lot of accountants. Again, most of your clients are single, solo entrepreneurs.
Well, usually teams of 1 to 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you guys something that's going to completely blow your mind, and we are in a safe space. So if if the guys over there come beat me up in a minute, you'll know why.
It's safe for us.
Okay. Yeah. Well, at least behind this thing. A lot of you guys are buying tax software incorrectly. And what I mean by that is you're buying it by price. Oh, I don't make enough money.
Okay.
That's total BS. There's about 4 tax softwares you should consider.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
And if you're not using one of those 4, you are hurting yourself dramatically. Okay. You're hurting your clients dramatically.
Because they're that much better than
they
the
are
other
significantly
options?
better. Okay. I personally use UltraTax.
Okay.
I'm not going to brag. It's like $50K.
Okay.
It's a lot of money. Okay. And it's a lot of money. I think it's worth it. Okay. Like value add, it's worth it. At the same point, if you want to go significantly cheaper than that, okay, a good solution, for example, would be maybe Drake. Solid program, relatively inexpensive, straightforward. If you go anywhere to, I don't want to pick on anyone specifically, like those guys or those guys. I'm pointing to people. You guys can't see me pointing to different vendors who are here.
That's why I said it's a safe space for us, not for them.
But that's pretty much the 2 programs you should look at as the first 2 lines of defense. And people are like, oh, I use this company, starts with a giant O over there. It's only $295 for unlimited returns. You're an idiot. I use this company, with a cross in their name. They give me free stuff because I do rapid refunds. You're an idiot. Okay. I use this company because they have, you're an idiot.
But you could be good at other things, though, in life, right?
It could be.
Maybe.
Could be, maybe. But it's a matter of, like I said, so again, good solutions would be look at UltraTax, very expensive. Look at Drake, a less expensive option, anywhere from $900 to $2,000, $3,000 a return. And it's a much better software, much more robust, much better for you, faster. And stop looking, again, as solo entrepreneurs, 1 to 4. Oh, look at cost. I could buy a program for $299 than $1,500. No, you're hurting yourself because it's in order to do the return, it's slower. The output's slower. The reporting slower. The what you present to your client is bad. Okay. Whereas, for example, again, if you do any audit work, I do some audit work, right? I've had some clients just randomly get audited, right? And it's really funny because with Drake and with UltraTax, one of the things I like about it is it actually prints out all the diagnostics. So you get a letter from the IRS saying, hey, where'd you deduct this? Why'd you do this? Oh, here's the IRS form that filled it out. You don't get that with some of these other softwares. They just do the return. It's not done wrong. They don't show you and you have to go figure it out. And then that means I now have to spend my time going on the IRS website, downloading it, putting it into Excel and doing it. They just give you all the diagnostics. And it also makes you look really, really cool, okay? When you do a tax return. Yeah, it's very
Especially
important.
to me.
No, yeah, exactly. No, watch this. So when you do a tax return in some other company, let's say they slay dragons maybe, okay? They print out the return and they give you just the 7 pages that you need, okay? And, it's the 1040 page 1 and 2, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, and that's it.
Tax
the actual
forms,
tax right, okay. And the client goes, why'd you charge me $1,000 for this?
Okay. Because the file's so thin.
Well, it's so thin.
Piece of paper
you use Drake, okay, or UltraTax. UltraTax for a state return.
Yeah.
It's like 150 pages.
It looks like rocket science.
Oh, yeah. And Drake's about 90 pages.
Yeah.
So you print that out and you go, wait a second.
That's right. Any questions?
Exactly. And the client's like, oh my God, this is insane.
You're a genius.
You're a genius. Exactly. Yeah. So that's worth it. Now, again, is there any difference? No. The first 8 pages are the same. It's all the other stuff that's in there. It's like, that's kind of cool. And then the other thing too is, for example, like you guys are worried about cost, right? We do not, hear me correctly, we do not print out a single return in the office. Did you hear me correctly there? We do not print out a single return in the office.
So you're not printing off those 90 pages.
Printing? I literally don't even have a printer in the office anymore. I do not have a printer anymore. So what happens is we do the returns. We send it off to the CRM that we use. Okay. If anyone wants to call me, I'm happy to, give them a name, whatever it is. It's a really good one. Okay. It's named after the Capitol Dome, maybe. Okay. It's really good. It's expensive though. But anyway, we send the return to that thing. The people sign the return on their phone or on their computer. Okay. And then the return gets sent off. If they want to print it off, guess what they can do? Print it at their house. Have fun. Don't care. Okay. I literally last year got rid of all my printers in the office.
Nice.
Okay. We will not print anything. We actually do have one printer because there is some stuff we do to print. But I think, so usually we used to print a ton of returns and we go through boxes and reams of paper.
For sure.
This year, literally right before I came back, for this year, I have gone through a total of 4 reams of paper. That's 2,000 pages. That's it. I used to go through boxes of paper.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We just said, no more printing. And the little printing that we did was actually, unfortunately, my own printing for me, for some stuff. Like, for example, certain clients, you need to print stuff out for things and stuff like that. But signatures are all electronic. That saves me time, saves me money, makes me more money too, right? People are like, oh, you're technology savvy. Yes, I am. right? And then the other thing too is that since I'm not printing anything, think of all the money I'm saving by not buying toner, fixing the printer when it breaks, because you don't fix printers anymore, just buy a new one, right? So I'm not $200 every time I do a printer, right?
Yeah, right.
I don't have to print anything, don't put paper out. And think of all the time I'm saving, right? I mean, think about it this way. You do a return, it takes you 10, 15, 20 minutes, a half hour to do a return. Then you print it, you sit there and wait for the printer, right? Oh, it's 3 pages a minute, 10 pages a minute, still a half hour. Then you got to collate
if you have
it.
a printer jam.
Yeah, you got to collate it, and then you have to put it in front of the client to sign. I don't print anything. Did I mention I don't print anything? We don't print. And the few that we did, we actually, I will lie a little bit. We actually did print a few returns this year. A few of them are from some really, really old clients. And we did only print out the 7 pages they needed, okay? And then we did print for a few other stupid clients, and we charged them for it. And yes, you heard me correctly. That's how you make $1 million, right? You can add additional services. Client comes in, you want to copy your return. I need to copy my return, dude. All right, it's $250. Okay. Done. I made $250 to print 7 pages. I thought that was a good use of my time and money.
That sounds like a,
That's how you get $1 million.
High leverage.
Yeah,
right.
That's how you get $1 million.
Dave, thank you so much for joining us.
I
I know
have
you're
your
going
routing
to
number,
be
though.
charging me for this interview, so I don't want it to go too much longer because my bill's going up. Definitely send me that bill. Send it to my other email or my other address. And really appreciate catching up with you. You'll most likely see Dave at a conference if you attend an
And if
in-person
you're watching,
conference.
just look for a colored shirt guy. You'll find me. It's pretty easy.
And then let us know again, repeat your business name,
Sure.
or if people wanted to, because you had mentioned maybe people getting in touch.
Yeah, so our website is ZEBTAX, as in zebra or Zebulon Tax. And our phone number is 973-346-4150, 973-346-4150. We will answer the phone, and I will call you back. I don't have a problem taking calls. I want to help you guys. I want us all to be successful.
Yep.
Right? I mean, one of the problems we have, again, in the industry is that we're always racing to the bottom. If I help us raise everybody up, we all win.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave. Really appreciate it.
Boom.
That was fun.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Imelda. Join us as we continue to share these insightful conversations from the IRS Tax Forum. If you are interested in being part of our community, please visit prontotaxschool.com or email us to support@prontotaxschool.com. Being part of our memberships comes with getting expert support, top-rated training programs, and weekly video live events.